It is Saturday morning. I got 15 minutes. 25 minutes. I got to take Ollie to, so I got to get the opening done, right? Opening done. So it was raining today. Not a lot done today. All the race horses jogged. They got all the horses that were in Tuesday, Wednesday jogged. Babies did not, which I was fine with. We're going to train them on Tuesday. We have some horses getting cryoed. Splints getting done. We still have a couple of horses to castrate, which will also get done. And then I think we are all set up for the summer. Now, we had a ton of horses getting ready to qualify this week. A ton of horses that did qualify. I know Melisandre's on my list. She went from a huge concern and question mark to a non-concern and a minor question mark, I guess. How fast is she? But she certainly looked good and felt good to me the other day. I'm torn. I want her to be a stake filly. I want her to be a good filly. But I'm trying my hardest to step aside and say, okay, what kind of horse is she? How fast is she going to be? And allow her to do it at her pace. Because her attitude is good. Her speed is there. She came out 58-4 the other day pretty easy. And this is like the fourth time she trained hard. You said, well, she got the 8-hole on Wednesday. Listen, the one thing about her, you just put her nose right on the gate as it starts moving, and she just trots along behind it. If you want to go out of there, go out of there with her. I could easily just snap her right over into the 2-hole with the smallest amount of ease on Wednesday, and I would be thoroughly surprised if she didn't trot in 58, especially if they have a day like they did the other day. Friday, where it was like 25 degrees Celsius. She was good in her qualifier, and I expect her to be good on Wednesday. The list is not about her. It's about a number of 3-year-olds. Nobody has said it, but I feel when I read some emails, it's on the tip of their tongue, people saying, a lot of the horses didn't come back as good as we hoped. Well, truthfully speaking, I think all the horses we knew, or we suspected would come back very good. Some of the horses we hoped would come back good did not come back as good as we hoped. But that's on hope. That's not on the horses, right? When you look at some of the horses we had to sell, I don't think there were any glaring, shocking developments negatively from the horses this year. I'm looking at the list of horses that have come back really good thus far. And these were all the horses we assumed would, right? I didn't talk to everybody. Captain Incredible, obviously a little bit ahead of Melisandre. He pays 52 as a 2-year-old. He already won in 56-3. He trained very, very good in the jog cart on Friday morning. I'm going to train him again in the jog cart a little slower. Actually, Eric will probably train him a little slower in the jog cart Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably Tuesday. And then I'll come back with a stiffer mile with him on Friday. He's 2-3 weeks from qualifying and being ready to go, and that would bump right up against the next series that starts at the Meadows. He may miss the first leg, I'm not sure. So Amy and I weren't going to do a top 10 list. We didn't do technically a top 10 list, but I told Amy I believe there's 15 or 20 horses that are starting to separate from the other horses that are trying to get it all put together and accelerate and move forward. But there's 15 or 20 that are doing it right now. They feel like they understand their work, and they're pushing forward right now. You could go much faster than we're going with them, but we're holding a lot of them back. And then there are some horses that have maybe just separated from that group of 15, 20, 22, 25 horses. There might be 10. Now, I had 13 on my list. I cut 3 off pretty easy. They were 13th, 12th, and 11th. And to me, there was 10, right? I had Neuromancer on the top 10 list, and I know he'll get there. But there were 10 horses they're just a little bit ahead of everybody. Do you disagree with anybody on my list?
A little bit.
Oh, really? Really?
Sorry, she's gone good once.
No, twice. And came first over and beat me the other day, and we were smoking on the end of it. But since we changed her gear and added a few things, she's just been different. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, because it is a list. And we'll talk about the list in a minute. But that particular horse had the same driver for the last little while. He said, honestly, she's top 5. The other day when he came off, he said, this filly is legit now. She's really good. So I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. I do want to talk about the 3-year-olds and the racehorses. The week that we had, last week we had such a tremendous week. I'm like, it's really hard to duplicate. We won the open trot and the open pace. This is 3 weeks in a row we won the open trot at the Meadows. 2 weeks out of 3, we won the open pace. The only reason we didn't win it last week because they didn't have one. Arson was second in what was the open pace last week. And when you look at Time Is On My Side, somebody said, a little bit flat yesterday. It wasn't flat. It was a tiny bit short. He's raced twice in a month, 2 weeks, and then back in 2 weeks. He was off last week, and all 3 horses that beat him at the wire, Arson, Ronnie's horse, and Dave Palone's horse, all 3 of them were stacked right across the track in 51 last week. So they're coming in razor sharp. They're coming in sharp, and Time is doing the best he can. But this wasn't the Breeders' Crown. It wasn't like Tim snapped him in the race bike 3 days out and trained him. He had him ready to go on Friday. The other horses were just ready to rock, and that's, you guys get to see just the tiny differences, right? And then you look at JK Victory. You said people are, the track is fast. Of course the track's fast. It's 25 degrees in the sun. It's beautiful out. But JK Victory, we had added a couple little corks to the outside and put shims on him, and that tiny little shoeing change really allowed him to come forward. Now, I know you didn't watch the race. You said you were busy doing other things. But Dave Palone, last week, the last time I raced JK Victory, now that was 2 weeks ago. The last time I raced JK Victory, I got away in the 3-hole, I think, and down the backstretch, he gapped a bit, and I did chase him and chase him and chase him. As we started into the backstretch yesterday, I could feel him start to come back to me a bit, and I started to chase him and chase him. Dave Palone made a break on the front end in the last race. Him and I almost got tangled up in the last race 2 days ago when I made a break.
Yeah.
He made a break yesterday in the last race. He moves the horse out of the way, and when I clear to the front, JK Victory just flipped a switch and was gone. Third quarter in 27, last quarter in 28, a mile 150. The fastest mile of the year at the Meadows, 150 flat, belongs to. So we have the fastest and second fastest mile from the Pacers. And actually, I have no idea what the Trotters have gone, but looks like Money might very well have the season mark for Trotters so far. So, 2-3 weeks we stacked together that have just been incredible. I was not surprised that Looks Like Money won. I stole a little half, and I could hear Ronnie chirping me from in behind me. I made front 27-3 and then slammed the air on 57-4. And as soon as it popped up on the board, I could hear Hunter and Ronnie yapping from behind me. And we pulled up, and Hunter said, "Hey, nice training mile, rat." Went under the wire. But Looks Like Money has been great. I was surprised they filled the open trot this week. I would be thoroughly surprised if they filled it next week. At some point, you're going to see Looks Like Money make an appearance at Miami Valley. And man, the way he is right now, he is scary good right now. 53 home, but earplugs in yesterday. I won by head, but I never even pulled the earplugs on Money. And Memory and Imagination, the poor bugger, we'd use him to fill the open, but he finished 6th. Aaron said if he stays left towards the inside, he's 5th. And the 5 that finished ahead of him were all very, very nice horses. Last quarter in 28 seconds, mile 50, his own mile in 54-4. He was very good yesterday. Also, I'm just looking at, Arson, Drebin, Memory and Imagination is starting to come around. I'm wondering if it might have been the corks with these horses. Because this would be the first time they were racing with corks on it. Training down is not the same as racing. And this is the first few races of them having them off. So that's worth noting also. Mount Sprawl was a winner again this week, 55 flat. I think that's a new lifetime mark for him, if I'm not mistaken. Time Is On My Side has been lights out. Hasn't missed a check all year long. Even in getting set back and even in getting parked the whole way, he has never missed one check all year long. 3 weeks off to rest. As I was saying to Harry this morning, I said to Tim yesterday, 3 weeks off to rest. He'll come back. Tim will prep him, and we'll likely send him over to Ontario to race in the prep at Mohawk, race in the Juravinsky, and then race in the graduate elimination. That's the plan, and then we'll go from there with him. Save America is going to train hard next week. He'll be back in 3 weeks also. Spitfire Overseas did some work on him. We found a few little things with him. Nothing serious, but definitely enough where you'd look at it and say, this should definitely help this horse. So a little vet work done on him. Tech Song Soprano was great again. We never talk about him enough. He was fantastic again. Finished 3rd. A beaten 3rd, but raced very, very good in Yonkers. And then again, JK Victory. 150 flat with him. He was good. 3-point blue chips on the track back. He'd hit himself the other day and blown up his his, where they hit on the shin, his shin was quite swollen the other day. There was nothing there; it was just a bruise. But I'm glad he didn't get in this week. It'll give Tim and them another week to get that cleaned up and sucked up a little bit, and then he'll be ready to go next week. And even like Trosa, 52 flat. I don't know how tough he's in. Little Judas picked off both of them tonight, Trosa and Rose Run AJ, and Patrick DePrana has moved up to the Open, but he's 9-2 tomorrow night. I'd love to see this guy come back to life. Man, nothing would make me happier to see this horse competitive in the Open pace tomorrow at Northfield Park. We've been looking for a consistent Open pacer and Open trotter for Northfield Park forever. We've always had stand-ins that came over. I really thought that 3 Point Blue Chip would make his way up to the Open, but that just didn't happen. But I would love nothing more than have this guy step forward this week. Did you watch many races this week? I know you said you didn't watch any from yesterday, but not many races you watched this week. Did you watch Mounds?
No.
So Addie literally watched more races than you did this week.
Well, it's hard when you race in the afternoon.
That's true,
You're
too.
not even done here when you start.
That's true. You should turn that TV on, that big TV at the front of the barn. Yeah. Turn on that will show the races. Those are the race horses. Now, Amy can play a much bigger role in this part of the conversation because a lot of these 3-year-olds, she's trained back. Arrowhead Hanover, and I joke about it, but you did a good job training him back. He floored me how good he was the other day on that track at the Meadows. He is ready to rock right now and will be qualifying. Oh, I got to go over there Tuesday morning. I got to go qualify over there. Wow. You know what I might do? I don't know if Aaron will jump off his horse to drive Vehement. The horse he's down looks okay. He's in the 2nd and Mel Saunders in the 12th on Wednesday. Maybe I can talk him into that. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Arrowhead Hanover's got to qualify Tuesday morning. Our plan was to train. I don't know about video. We might skip a week the videos while we get the horses, splints, crowd, and stuff. So, and actually, we have 5 sets. I might be able to get them all in before I leave at 10:30 anyway. Oh, for sure. For sure I will. I guarantee you we did. Last time I tried that, we had a few little hiccups, and I was still in the 5th set. We'll be able to do that. We'll be able to do it. All I have to do is, I'm in the 2nd race.
You have to
Hold on.
Get here on
and I'm
time.
in the 2nd race. I only got to be there by 12:50, so I only got to leave at 10:30, 10:40. It's cutting it a little thin, but
I'm sure they appreciate you showing up right before the race.
as long as they know I'm there. 10:30, as long as I leave by 10:30. We'll be fine on Wednesday. We'll be fine. So Arrowhead...
Tuesday.
No, Wednesday. Tuesday's the qualifiers for Arrowhead. He was so good last week. I cannot wait to go with this horse on Tuesday. And Captain Incredible. You haven't gone with him, you haven't seen him, but he was very, very good. Very good yesterday training. He's a couple of weeks away also. James did tell me Chicago Hall schooled in 2 minutes yesterday. Was very good in his schooler. Resolve Indeed schooled in 2-1, and he said she was very good in her schooler also. So that's good. That's great news to hear. Foxy Seaside, we sent Country Dancing back to Ontario yesterday because Foxy Seaside's off. Remember, the reason that she came over is because they're in the same... No, she was in the same class as Foxy Seaside, right? They didn't get in the last week, so we took her over here. So Country Dancing has gone back to Ontario to race. Broke a hobble the other day.
What time do you have to leave?
Another 10 minutes or so. Broke a hobble the other day and is now gone back to Ontario. So she'll race in Ontario next Thursday. Somebody said, well, then they have a week off. Okay, so she has a week off. I don't think it's going to kill her.
Who has a week off?
Country Dancing.
Mohawk.
Yeah. So I've been super happy with Foxy Seaside. I drove her last start. She was a little flat, but didn't take long to figure out why she had bled. We put her on Lasix. It's a 14-day withdrawal on Lasix, so you have to be off 14 days for Lasix in Ontario to start. So Foxy Seaside's going to take her a little rest right now. We'll have her back going. Her plan is to come to Ohio in May. Gorgeous package. Trained her the other day. Was she ever cooking? She was extremely good the other day. She's going to race. I think the plan, Jason said, was to race her next Saturday or Sunday at Northfield. The class at the Meadows, that was the one I near spilled everybody with Tim's horse. They were going to go right in 52. So a little salty there right now. We're going to stay at Northfield Park with Gorgeous Package next week. Grand Slam deal. Finally, my girl's in to go Wednesday. They said she schooled good the other day. She's in to go Wednesday. She's going to hopefully go good on Wednesday, and then she can go to Ontario also to race over there. Jimboree looked very, very comfortable in an easy 59 win, 28 on the end of it. James was pretty enamored with that filly after the mile. He was...
James isn't enamored about anything.
No, but he went on about this filly, how good she was. He said what did he say? He said she was...
I'm going to ask him.
You can ask him. He said how extremely good she was. And you're right, he never says anything super nice about the horses. But I think he thought that we maybe underplayed our hand with Jimboree in regards to how good she is or is not. I believe he thinks she's an extremely good filly, which I believe she is also. Her and Rosetta, I think she's a better filly than Rosetta, and Rosetta's already winning 57 and looked
but
very,
Rosetta
very good.
has more options than Jimboree. Rosetta can go to New Jersey and be on Lasix.
But she isn't a Lasix horse. Rosetta isn't, so I'm not too worried about but yeah, she is right now. I'm not worried about that right now. So Jimboree was an easy winner at Mohawk the other night. Looked very, very good doing it. Rosetta was fourth the other night. Wasn't quite as good also. It looked like her feet were bothering a little bit. Harry thought that they might have been pinching her a bit going into the race, so they're going to work on that for the next week. Oh, he'll know made a break. Very rare, but made a break on James. The break was simple and easily defined. James just got blasting into the turn the week before he crossed her. You got to watch her. You can't just scream off the cart with her. When she gets twisted around, her first two steps into the turn, you have to square her around. If you let her blast into the turn when she's already twisted around, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You start putting big head pulls on her, she gets going the other way in the straightaway, and that's where she'll make mistakes there. You can let her go into the turn. You just have to let her get her feet set underneath herself before you advance. And I think James was used to everybody just cutting them loose, and Michael Vanderkamp looked like he was planning on stretching them. Yeah, the feed literally cut as she was going into the turn. I didn't see her make the break. And even in the replay, it cuts as they went into the turn. And it picked her up down the backstretch, except there was no. She was gone. And I knew exactly what had happened before I even talked to James. She just made that break going into the first turn. Resolve Indeed School, great, and Rosetta's been racing great. So, I mean, you have all these horses that are doing well. I'm looking at the 3-year-olds that I know are coming back good. What? Oh, my. Why do I always forget him? And he trained awesome yesterday, Memento Mori. Maybe because he hasn't raced yet. These are all horses that have schooled or qualified or racing. So maybe that's why. Memento Mori trained extremely good yesterday. I told Amy I was going to go a mile and 2.7. I went a mile and 2.4 and 4 with him. He was very good. I come like 28 seconds with no hobbles on. I'll probably come back with a mile and 2 minutes or 2.1 with him next week. What do we do with Mori after this? We have a number of horses with numbers of 3 at Mohawk. Plus, he doesn't need to go to Mohawk because he's going to a small track. He's going to go to Yonkers. We can either race him at Northfield a couple of times, or he can go straight to Yonkers. I don't know. We'll probably race him here at least once, I think.
Is he not non-winners of 2?
Non-winners of 3.
He's got a million seconds.
No, but he won the race. He won at least one at Oak Grove, right? And he won the big race, the Bluegrass. They might be his only. He definitely is 2 if he is not 3. If you're sitting out there saying, "Wait, I can check it up," so can I. Just nobody in an email. I will know by the time this video is over. I think he has 3 wins, actually. Which soundly puts him in the numbers of 4 here anyway. He'll still maul the numbers of 4. And then I think we can send him to Yonkers. I haven't paid him in the Yonkers trot and everything in New York. He's coming back good and looks fairly good. This was the first time I went with him. Amy's been training him back also. And the horse looks extremely good right now. You know, I was going to do a top 10 video today. But you're right. You know, I really just wanted to talk about the horses... She thinks she's so funny. She knows that I have kind of a soft... Ollie, stop being silly. Soft spot for Blue Rare. I think she's an exceptionally gifted animal.
I've heard it from everybody. It's not just you.
Oh,
Every time something, even the new kid that started for us.
Yeah.
He jogged her like on Tuesday or whatever day it was, and he came in and he goes, "Who is this?"
Yeah.
And he didn't know anything about anything.
She's a super gifted filly. And as I said, when you say, okay, I need to know the shortcomings of the muscle masses, no problem. I can tell you 2 right away. Their knees bother them, which hers haven't bothered her now. We've already even x-rayed them again to see if they were on their way. No, Wally.
Breathing.
See if, and the breathing in the summer, allergies, bleeding, inflammation, redness in the airway. These things happen. Even Tipsy and Dixie, that was so good for us, was on Lasix, I think.
I was hoping they were on top of that with him already.
They have been. They have them on supplements. They do a good job of them. She was talking with Chicago Hall, right? Same thing. Knees bothered him at 2, and his airway bothered him. We had him on Lasix after his first qualifier, remember? So if you're going to say, okay, quick, 2 problems with the muscle masses. These are the ones that we've seen. Now, they're mitigated also. We have her on supplements here for her airway. I haven't seen any snot in her nose since she's been down on the other end. Since we put her on those supplements, she's been very good. Amy's going to start her on the what's it called? The FlexiNeb. Now that it's starting to warm up here also. I just want to stay way in front of it as best we can, because I believe that filly is... I got to be careful. I'm trying my best to be guarded, but she seems like a special kind of filly. And we have a number of horses that are very, very nice horses. This top 10 list was easy because I told you this is kind of the cream rising to the top. We're in March, right? You still have April, May, June. Tons of time for lots more cream to rise to the top. But these are the 10 horses that kind of show up right now. I had to take Neuromancer off. I know how good he's going to be. In my mind, I know how good he was. And Amy asked the other day, why would you go with the quarter crack on him? Why would you... why would you train him when he has that quarter crack a little bit? That it's going to bother him a little bit today. I know it's going to bother him today. I want to know what he's going to do with that. I want to know what he's going to do. Is he going to go out there and be a crybaby and look for a way out, try to pull up, make breaks, and act up? Nope. He just dug his head into his head check, and away he goes. And that might sound a little barbaric or a little, to Amy, it was she couldn't understand why. But I want to see. There's going to be days when things are bothering you. You go to work sick, right? It's not, you don't wake up with a cough and I'm like, oh my God, is Amy going to go to work today? Is she going to cry about this cough? No, because I know, same as I am, doesn't matter what is ailing me, I'm going to work. I'm going to get it done. And I want to know, it's not very often you can get a little peek inside that work ethic and inside that will. And somebody might say, well, if you keep doing that, that work ethic's going to diminish. You're right, it will. He's fine now. Neuromancer's fine. That quarter crack will heal up. There won't be a problem at all. But I got to look at what he was going to do when he was faced with little adversity. You don't get to do that very often, right? The last thing you want to do is screw around, say his knee was bothering or something. Well, that's different. You're not going to push him to a point. Quarter crack is like a split in your finger. It's going to heal down. You're going to be fine. Just relax. You're not talking about sore knees and stuff. Well, that's different. You got to pay attention to what's going on. And with Neuromancer, horse has always impressed me with his presence. What he did the other day was really impressive. He was trying to fight that horse off down the lane, and then when you sprung on him down on the inside, he got to the turn, he just kind of panicked a little bit and rolled off stride. But he was trying to figure out a way in that moment to get into and through that turn. And that's what I want to see the horses do. I want to show me that you want to be better than the other horses. And I say this to Ollie all the time, right? And all our kids. Just work harder than everybody around you, and you'll get noticed. And it's so important in this day and age, but it's important for horses too. These are athletes. It's the same thing. You want to stick out? Work harder than the other people around you. Same for the horses. So Neuromancer, I'm sure, will make the top 10. Horses like him will make the top. Even the fillies. Make fun of Royal Duchess. She went out and did her work. Got the job done again. Worked hard. And so did Cherry's Girl. Trained fantastic. Because that's her job. And I'm glad that they went out and took it very, very seriously. So the 10 that really caught my eye, and there were 3 or 4 you could have put on the list, but I think these 10 to me were 10 we can get behind. Maybe a little. Amy said, "Oh, you got to put Aunt Sarah on the list." She's right. So I took Neuromancer off the list and put Aunt Sarah on the list because that was fair. The filly is amazing.
And I don't know how you don't have Tomboy Strong on it.
She was like 11. She just missed the cut. And she should be on there. And you can make an argument. I have Sweet Lake at 8. You can make an argument for her, but she was so good the other day. And every time I go with her, she just feels so awesome. And it's hard for me not to put her on there. And I still, as we talk about it, I still believe I would put her on there just a hair before Tomboy Strong. And I think very high. Tomboy Strong, by the time June gets around, by the time June gets around, she could be the best Ohio bred trotting filly. It wouldn't shock me at all if she was. But I think the 10 I have on my list are above. Emerald Tom, Horse has been great every single week. He's on there. Number 10. Number 9, Aunt Sarah, as you said. It's nice to see we have some Ohio breds on here and some really good ones. Somebody asked me who my best PA bred the other day was, and I couldn't think of the name.
Really?
Right there. No, Trotter.
Oh, Trotter.
Sweet Lake is in at number 8. I just think that this filly, 1, she's bred very well, and 2, I love that she just keeps coming. Rose Run Bobby, another Ohio bred, makes it in at number 7. I think you're going to see her get better and better and better. We're only scratching the surface of this filly. She's kind of in a minor rut right now. You don't see it, but she is, and she's going to break out of it real soon. And when she does, she's going to come forward in a big way.
She's like a teeter totter, and she hasn't quite decided what side she wants.
Nah, she's good.
No, I jogged her the other day. She's still.
I think she knows you. I think she likes getting ahead of you.
Oh, she.
I think she's like,
no.
Ooh, I get to play with Amy today. I think that's how she is. But Bobby, I never see that. She was great again the other day. I was really happy with her. 6, Millie Girl has been great. You know, I thought she looked as good as she ever did when you went with her that day. And she wasn't having a great day. She was a little stocked up behind. Amy said, we're going to go with her. And then I look over and she is screaming at us at the wire. I really, really like this filly. And, you know, we talked earlier about Diosa Della Danza. Amy said, well, she had 2 good trips. Put the shadow roll on her, pulled her head up, put a set of knee boots on her. I told you guys she would look better. Jason Merriman came first over. I was on the front with Sweet Lake, and we were just about to start rocking. You were coming with Millie Girl. Jason was sitting there. I said, just wait till I had a lane. I didn't want to put Sweet Lake on the run, and just in case. And I saw everybody just kind of bunching up. We got to the lane. He called on her. Boom, she was gone. Paced right by me, and we were smoking the last 16th, and she drove right past her. That's a good filly. She shouldn't have been able to do that, and she made it look very, very easy. The 4 best horses.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
The goose is back. Oh, that's not the same one.
That's a goose that doesn't like Amy Holler. I don't have a problem with that goose. That goose and I are cool. Go Strong Hanover, top 3 horse. He's going to get back up into the top 3. And the top 5 are just the top of the food chain for us right now and have been for a while. Go Strong Hanover's been near the top since the day we put a harness on him. That won't change for a while. He is a very, very nice colt. Number 3, Steady Volo, has been number 2 for a while, but there was a little changing of the guard. Fair is fair. Steady Volo, number 3. Number 2 is Perfect Thought. She was dethroned by the horse I was talking about early, Blue Rare. I love these horses, but Blue Rare just feels different. She just feels just a little bit different than the other horses. She just feels like anytime she can turn it on and make you like it. And I just have a real tough time not thinking she's top of the food chain. Your thoughts on anything? Ollie, turn that down.
No, I just think there's
down
some
or off?
that didn't make the list that are
Like what? 2, 3? Tell me.
Jailbird Jog.
Jailbird Jog was right there too. I love that. But again, I had to put
She's a little bit. She needs some.
Little rough around the edges still. These are horses that are right now horses that are awesome right now. And that's why the other filly could have been on here, Tomboy Strong, but I opted to put Emerald Tom. She's perfect. But I opted to put Emerald Tom on. He seems a little quicker, a little stronger, and you always think he's good, and then he does something you're like, wow, he looked really good today. So that's how he made it on the list. He can march
down the lane.
Yeah, very nice colt.
I just don't know, but he got shot, so I guess that was why
he's been
a little
great.
bumpy in the turns.
He's been great all along. I'm not worried about that horse at all.
How many times do they have to race here? I guess it depends what class they're in.
Well, I mean, as
2 and 2, isn't it usually? 2 here, 2
I think there's 5 now. I think there's been 5. I could be wrong. Either way, you have the races at Scioto, the breeders, and the other one, and then there's a number of bigger races for him too. All in Ohio, but lots. I mean, look at a horse like Aunt Lily. She wasn't the best filly by any stretch at the end of the year, but she made 200 Canadian. She made $135,000 US and was 3rd or 4th best, maybe 5th best by the end of the year. So there's lots of money here in Ohio. It's a great program, a tremendous program, and we have a ton of Ohio breds that seem really good. And every year I say that. If you go back and watch my videos, every year I'm like, we got some real good ones for Ohio, and it doesn't always work out because, you know, we talk about the cream rising to the top now. It's still got to rise again. It's got to get there still. Anyway, I got to get Ollie to baseball. You get out, go eat some cupcakes, and I will meet you at home later on. All right? Anything to add quickly?
Yes. No.
Go Melisandre Wednesday. Next. Take care.